Hello and welcome to the news update on AFRICUNIA television, bringing you updates across the board from our studio in the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. I am Deborah Ezeh. Many thanks for joining me. We begin from Nigeria. Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State yesterday said even though the demands by the Academic Staff Union of Universities is genuine, there is no way the country will borrow 1.1 trillion naira to meet the union's demand. Umahi, in a statement when he received members of the Nigeria Police Trust Fund led by Mr. Ben Akubweze, insisted that the basic problem in the country remains security, health and education. According to Umahi, a universal education is not for everybody, and he stressed that the basic education every country strives to attain is secondary and vocational school education. He maintained that these are basic schools and that qualification obtained from them can aid one to start up something or gain employment. His words, there is a need to review our educational system. It mustn't be for everybody. I am not ashamed that I have a first degree and my deputy is a PhD holder. It doesn't matter. So I cannot see how we cannot sit down with ASUU leaders and iron out the strike problem. I have read on social media and newspaper how students go into or get into trouble just by sitting at home or engage in other means of keeping themselves busy instead of being in school. There is no way the country will borrow 1.1 trillion naira to meet ASUU demand. It is unreasonable. Are the demands genuine? Yes, but we can start little by little. End of quote. And now moving on, security agency have begun a manhunt for the financier of the June 5, 2020 terrorist attack on the St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State, in which 40 worshippers were killed and scores injured. The federal government had earlier blamed the attack on the Islamic State West African province terrorists, a claim the Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu contested. It was gathered on Wednesday that the security operatives had identified the sponsors and directed all ports and borders authorities to watch out for them. A security source has said that no fewer than 9 of those involved in the bloody attack were in custody. The source also disclosed that security agencies were launched manhunt for 5 financiers. The source also said the security agency have nabbed 9 persons for direct or indirect involvement in the bloody attack on the Owo Catholic Church. They are now in the process of apprehending the financiers and sponsors of the terror attack. Officers at the nation's airports and borders have been ordered to watch out for and arrest the culprits who are on the run, as they may be desperate to leave the country to evade justice. When contacted, the Director of Defense Information, Major General Jimmy Akpo, said he had no information on the fleeing of the financiers or the efforts being made to arrest them. Away from Nigeria, negotiations remain the preferred option to obtain the release of 49 Ivorian soldiers detained for a month in Bamako and accused by the military in power in Mali of being mercenaries, which Abidjan denies, claiming that they were on a mission for the UN. A mediation by Togo has so far been unsuccessful, but discussions are continuing with a view to releasing the detained soldiers as quickly as possible. On 10th July, 49 Ivorian soldiers in military uniform but unarmed disembarked in Bamako from a plane of the national airline Air Côte d'Ivoire, another plane carrying their weapon. The Ivorian National Security Council, chaired by the head of state, Alassane Ouattara, immediately demanded their release without delay, claiming that they had been unjustly arrested. Mali demanded that Côte d'Ivoire acknowledge its responsibility and express regret for the deployment of soldiers on its territory without a legal framework, according to diplomatic sources close to the negotiation. Now, still on the African scene, a major collective that has been opposing the ruling junta in Guinea for several months and which had spearheaded the protests against former President Condé has been dissolved by a government order as it prepared a new demonstration. The National Front for the Defense of the Constitution, a coalition of parties, trade unions and civil society organizations, was at the initiative of the demonstration organized on 28th and 29th July, banned by the authorities and in which 5 people were killed, to denounce the unilateral management of the transition by the junta. The announcement of the dissolution was leaked on social networks following a new call of demonstrations by the FNDC on 17th August throughout Guinea to denounce the absence of credible dialogue between the junta, political parties and civil societies. We now go on a short break, and when we come back, it's updates making the rounds on the foreign scene. Stay with me. And I welcome back onto the foreign scene. China war games around Taiwan have led Biden administration officials to recalibrate their thinking on whether to scrap some tariff or potentially impose others on Beijing. Now, setting those options aside for now, according to the sources familiar with the deliberation, President Joe Biden's team has been wrestling for months with various ways to ease the cost of duties imposed on Chinese imports during predecessor Donald Trump's tenure, as it tries to tamp down skyrocketing inflation. The White House said Biden has not made a decision on the issue and all options remain on the table. Union groups led by United Steelworkers have urged USTR to keep the tariff on Chinese goods in place to help level the playing field for workers in the United States and reduce U.S. reliance on Chinese suppliers. Meanwhile, Taiwan rejects the one-country, two-system model proposed by Beijing in a white paper published this week. The self-ruled island foreign ministry said on Thursday, "Only Taiwan's people can decide its future," ministry spokeswoman Juan Ho told a news conference in Taipei, the capital. China was using U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taipei as an excuse to create a new normality to intimidate Taiwan's people, Ho added. Now, still on the foreign scene, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has declared victory over COVID-19 and his sister indicated that he too caught the virus, while vowing deadly retaliation against South Korea, which the North blames for causing the outbreak. Kim ordered the lifting of maximum anti-epidemic measures imposed in May, though adding that North Korea must maintain a still strong anti-epidemic barrier and intensifying the anti-epidemic work until the end of the global health crisis. North Korea has never confirmed how many people caught COVID, apparently because it lacks testing supplies. Instead, it has reported daily number of patients with fever, a tally that rose to some 4.77 million. But it has registered no new such cases since July 29th. Kim made his declaration in a speech on Wednesday at a meeting on COVID policy with thousands of unmasked officials sitting indoors, according to footage from state broadcasters. We now head to the sports scene. The Brazilian Football Confederation said on Wednesday it did not want to replay an unfinished World Cup qualifying match with Argentina. After receiving the request from the coach, Tite, and coordinator, Juninho Paulista, the president of CBF, Ednaldo Rodriguez, will seek to suspend the match, said a statement on the Federation website. The original fixture in September last year was altered when Brazilian health official stormed on the pitch after 7 minutes in Sao Paulo, alleging COVID-19 quarantine breaches by the visitors. The CBF statement suggested that FIFA had already agreed with the Argentine Football Association to call the game off. And finally, Newcastle United striker Callum and West Ham United forward Michael Antonio backed the Premier League's decision for teams to limit their pre-match anti-racism gesture of taking the knee to only some significant game this season. Players took the knee during last weekend's opening round of matches, and the gesture will also be seen during the No Room for Racism match rounds in October and March, Boxing Day fixtures after the World Cup, league matches on the final day of the season, and FA Cup and EFL Cup finals. Crystal Palace manager Patrick Vieira said last week that teams should not stop making the gesture as a statement still had to be made. And that concludes the news update on AFRICUNIA television. Do follow all our social media platforms displaying on your screen to stay connected and updated to our news and other programs. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and link us up on www.africunia.tv. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Bye for now.